So Alameda is an island in the bay, and starting February, March last year, we were becoming faced with an issue of more inspections than our inspectors could handle, and we needed to figure out what to do. We were traditionally for years same-day inspections. Call in the morning, get an inspection that day. We were getting out to 24, 48 hours, and by March of last year, we were 4 to 5 days out, which is, it's unacceptable for a contractor. It doesn't work for us. It leads to people stop coming to get permits. If we make it too hard for them to get a permit, they're just not going to come in, which defeats the whole point. So last August at the Engage conference, Maury came and found me because he knows I'll try anything new, and pushed me towards ViewSpecs to look at what their product was and see what it could do for Alameda. So.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, when our design build home remodeling company was approached by ViewSpecs, we were all jumping up for joy because this is a real big answer to a lot of our problems we have. Having to send a skilled worker out or a project manager to a job site and have them wait 4 or 5 hours for an inspector, it takes time, energy, costs money, and it's just not fair to everybody. So, I mean, and there's situations where, gee, Andy, can you meet with Mrs. Jones tomorrow? She can't meet the 10 o'clock appointment, but she can come in at 2, and he would say, no, I have an inspection I have to wait for. You know, so that kind of thing goes on all the time. So the other thing is a lot of times, you know, we'll have a condominium, let's say, that only has 1 bathroom, and we're trying to remodel a bathroom, and we find out that we can't get an inspection for a week. And that's a huge problem with a lot of people. And many times, you know, when we have a multi-use building like that, we have to find a place to park and try to get the inspector to find the entrance to the building. So all of this kind of takes time. Having this process where we can video the inspector a drywall inspection in 15 minutes is just wonderful. And I was just noticing, you know, I'm thinking about other things. Got traffic situations for the inspector. I was noticing it was snowing outside a little while ago, and I'm thinking, you know, what about communities where there's inclement weather? You know, how does the inspector get across town? So that's just some of the things. But we're all really excited about this. We can't wait for it to go forward. And as a consumer, it's worth it to us to pay for this service.
Thank you, Jerry. That's key for our success. And Greg, thank you for being a forward-thinking agency, as you've shown for so many years. So what ViewSpecs brings to the party is a real-time, two-way audio and video stream that connects the contractor to the inspector. And we use the Civic platform data to populate the mobile application that the contractor has in the field and the web application that the inspector has in the office. Some of the details of the technology, we use GPS to make certain that the contractor is actually where he says he is and that it's actually the permit address that's in the record. And then the inspector has the ability to make videos and take pictures and annotate those pictures and save them to the permit record in Accela in the cloud. And the graphical representation shows the mobile application, which is iPhone right now, soon to be Droid. On the far left then is the web application, which is what the inspector sees. And then in the middle is the cloud. And in the cloud, ViewSpecs is connected to Accela platform data. So that would be the permit records, inspection records. So the journey, how did we make this really happen? How much effort was involved to do this in Alameda? And thank you again, Maury, for recognizing Greg's forward-thinking stance and being willing to employ something that's so disruptive. All they needed to provide to us was access to the Civic platform, which is basically a username and a password. A couple of more things we do behind the scenes, but with that, the information is then populated to both the web app and the mobile app. The agency has the authority to determine which inspections will be permitted or provided view specs, remote capability, and that would be maybe the simpler ones, re-inspections or water heater inspections, something that they feel is, you know, of a low risk that doesn't require an actual inspector presence. They approve the contractors that they will allow to do that, Jerry being one prime example as a well-respected contractor in Alameda. So we provide a little bit of training for the inspectors, and in Glenn Tuff's case, who's not here, but he's one of the prime inspectors in Alameda, took about 15 minutes, and he's been pushing us ever since to get this thing deployed. And we are right now, we're still in beta test in the support environment because we don't want to go breaking Greg's system. That would be a big mistake. We're going to be transferring to production because we're ready to do that now. We'll probably transfer within 2 weeks. And then we're going to be looking to the agency to help us promote view specs throughout the contractor community. And then, of course, the Accela sales staff. That is our funnel. And thanks for the opportunity, Ken, tomorrow for us to do another speed networking session and get in front of the entire Accela sales staff. Wanted to talk about a couple of things that we didn't realize, that we didn't anticipate. One was Greg's willingness to believe that something like this could actually move towards on-call inspections. Instead of 1 week out or 4 days out and 4 hours of waiting, it's going to be, the day is going to come just like you're calling any customer service organization. You send a request via the mobile app. There's an on-call inspector in the office. The contractor pays a premium for that, but he then gets immediate access or acute access to an inspection. And again, it's a qualifying inspection. So I wanted to let Greg talk a little bit now about what he's realized as success.
Yeah, one of the things we're looking at is an increased number of inspections we can do today. And one of the things that hadn't come up when we first went down this road is our senior inspector's gone out on disability, had some surgery on a knee. So he's coming back, can't go out in the field, can't crawl under a house, isn't going to be climbing ladders. But I can now use him on a full-scale, almost full-time basis doing inspections using view specs because he can now utilize his knowledge and his understanding of the code to do inspections that he couldn't get to because he's not physically able to. And so it really increases both just from the everyday inspections, but now using one inspector who was limited to be able to go out and do the inspections. There's also savings of fuel. Now Alameda is fairly small. You can't go 10 miles without hitting water, so it does reduce the drive time, but certainly in larger jurisdictions, the carbon footprint and the reducing of fuel costs is significant. But we're finding it's just the ease of getting inspections out the door and done quicker is huge for us. We were ready to do a live demonstration of an inspection from Alameda today, but Accela apparently has some problem with Alameda and live demonstrations. It didn't go well in a past conference. So,
well, we'll be doing them tomorrow in the speed networking for everyone, this afternoon and tomorrow, by the way.
Well, our project managers are really surprised at how easy it is to use. I mean, we did some inspections using the process, and it's really fantastic. So I can see this being very popular with many contractors across the country. And it's wonderful working with the city of Alameda. You guys this is a great city. And thanks a lot for the opportunity to do this.
And thank you for taking the time out of operating a very busy construction company to come tell the story here. And I wanted to say specifically thank you to the evangelists, Seth and Mark and Ken, who's been shepherding us through this whole process, and Maury for introducing us to Greg. And Michaela's out there, or was out there, and she introduced us to our next opportunities, and really looking forward to meeting with all the sales staff this afternoon and tomorrow.
Yeah, Brad, you've got a few more that are coming online after Alameda?
We have three more really very big targets, and with the sales staff help, we're going to get into those. And basically, the building officials are completely on board. We have a little bit of work to do with the CIOs in those organizations, but we're hoping to be on stage and Engage with another success story.
And little bird told me you've got some new stuff coming out as well. Is that true?
That is correct. One of the other things that we recognized through this process was that with the e-permitting and citizen access to the Civic platform, Civic data, we want to provide inspection capability, view specs inspection capability straight to the citizen. So it'll be known as View Spec Citizen, and that will be released, and probably our story at Engage.
Further disruption.
Further disruption.
Any questions from the audience before the team goes?
Thanks. Okay, so a comment and a question. So, Brad, I think it's always helpful to go over this again more quickly. I think you have an inventive business model, which the agencies really like, and clearly the contractor community is willing to work with as well. So could you just make sure everybody understands kind of how the pricing works, cost of the
Okay, the economic model. Our founder is a drywall contractor, Dane Dimicel. When I say founder, he invented this idea. And it was invented out of need and his frustration with not being able to get inspections performed. He had 30 men, women ready to go to work the next morning, but all waiting on inspections of plumbing before he could cover up the walls with drywall. So he thought, well, there really has to be a better way. And so he actually created this product. We had our own permit issuing and inspection scheduling. When we made our first sales call to the city of Stockton, we found out we may have bitten off more than we could chew, but our real value proposition of the remote inspections was still very, very viable. And thank goodness, I called John Sasson. He says, you better call Chris Trujillo, and Chris says, you better be in Squaw Creek in 2 weeks. And that's what we did 2 years ago for that application developer conference. And during this process, we recognized that it's going to be very difficult to go through the RFP process with agencies, and that we believe that contractors will easily fund our growth and the growth through the entire country. And Accela will provide that sales funnel, and the agencies then get to enjoy this capability at no charge.
So it's free to the agency.
It's free to the agency. Right. Thanks, Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
Always a
I
good
mean,
thing.
I mean, if you think about it, you've got a skilled person standing around for 4 or 5 hours. There's several $100s there. Plus, you've got a crew that can't do any work. So it could, you're talking $1,000 or more in some cases in larger projects. So you could see that, if it's a nominal fee, it's worth it. So.
And then Greg and I talked a little bit earlier. I had a question if there's a little different use case for respects in this case, but in this era of transparency and fiscal responsibility, a few weeks ago in New York City, front page of the New York Post, 50 building inspectors with their sweatshirts over their head, doing the perp walk because they're accused of looking the other way and allowing large-scale contractors to skip on the code regulations. If that were all documented and archived, if the inspections were videoed and archived, a situation like that would be a lot harder for those inspectors to get away with looking the other way.
It definitely, I mean, it's true with anything with transparency in government is, the more people who can see it, the harder it is to do something you shouldn't be doing.
So do you think, that's a different story than productivity, that's again
Right.
more about.
But that kind of thing, the thing in New York City, that hurts building departments across the country because that's a common thought for people that, the building department's on the take. It's easy for, that's not true in most cases. So it has a productivity issue because then you're sort of fighting an uphill battle about why it's important for what we do, why we're out there inspecting. We're not out there to get payoff. We're out there for life safety, energy efficiency, accessibility, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's important.